Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight on the Now Bakersfield, a new minor league baseball team is moving into Sam Lynn Ballpark. See how you can lend a helping hand to help out the new team. And we'll tell you where you can meet the players tonight. Plus, the Get Bus has spent millions of dollars on brand new buses for the community. See where the cash came from and all the new upgrades on these kicked up rides. That's all ahead on the Now Bakersfield. Chris?
Let's get to our lineup here on the Now. And Instagram is making changes after being blamed for playing a role in a teen's suicide. How social media is trying to prevent these tragedies. And a breakthrough cancer treatment, a man went from thinking he possibly had only weeks to live to enjoying walks with his wife again. How this treatment is erasing signs of the disease. And more companies making the switch to become more environmentally friendly. And one teacher we met, she's been wearing the same outfit for nearly 100 days. It's all in an effort to highlight the issue of sustainable clothes. And we're finding out if making the switch really is realistic on a budget.
Good evening. Minor League Baseball left town when the Bakersfield Blaze packed up 3 years ago, and it looked like the boys of summer were gone forever. Then Sam Lynn Ballpark welcomed the Bakersfield Train Robbers, and now a new independent league is coming to Sam Lynn. The Now's Leah Pizzetti joins us with an introduction to the teams and the help they're asking for from the community.
Sam Lynn Ballpark has remained fairly quiet, but starting tomorrow night, this ballpark is going to become a field of dreams.
So it's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher, go to the shortstop, going to first base from there, okay?
It's the final day of the draft.
So let's have a fun day. Let's get after it, okay? Opening day's tomorrow, guys. Y'all ready to play?
A brand new league, 5 teams, 4 weeks of games, a field filled with hopefuls.
I have the skills and stuff, to make it back to the next level, so I'm just not giving up on it yet.
Taylor Zutenhorst is familiar with Sam Lynn Ballpark. He briefly played with the Blaze in 2016. Now he's back, hoping to catch the eyes of pro baseball scouts.
It's just what I love to do, so I don't want to sit in an office yet or be a coach yet.
2 other hopefuls.
We're out here to make you guys proud.
22-year-old twins Jacob and Jordan Rodriguez, who do everything together.
We go to the gym together, we eat together, we're inseparable. We study together.
They love each other, and they love baseball.
You can't really put it into words, the feeling that baseball gives me. It's a love, it's a passion. Baseball has blessed us with so much opportunities.
So they left their home state of New York together and came to Bakersfield to try to make it big.
I believe in myself, number one. I really believe that I can play this game at this level. You only live one life. You got to take advantage of every opportunity that you get.
They say they've heard the drafted players will only get a weekly paycheck of about $50 or $60, but these dedicated men will sacrifice a big paycheck for the chance to play ball.
It makes things harder, definitely, not having as much money, but you're not going to find more dedicated guys to the game of baseball than in independent baseball.
Dedicated guys like these two.
Chase your dream no matter what anybody tells you, whether you're too big or too small or whatever the odds may be stacked against you. Just keep following your dream no matter what nobody says.
For as passionate as these boys are, they do need your help. They're looking for host families to give them a home for the next month while they wrap up the season in early March. There is an event going on right now at Tembler. It started at 7 p.m. So if you're interested in hosting them or just want to meet the players, head on over to Tembler right now. For the Now, I'm Leah Pizzetti.
$12.7 million. That's how much Golden Empire Transit spent to purchase 24 new and improved buses, replacing 27% of its current fleet. Officials say each of those buses, which have new low floors, lower operating costs, and improved reliability, cost about $533,000 each. The buses also have nearly zero-emission compressed natural gas engines, which are 90% cleaner than current EPA standards. The state-of-the-art buses will help connect passengers buses that are on the go. The buses are equipped with 20 USB ports for people to charge their phones and other devices. Even the seats are improved on these new rides, easier to clean and more hygienic. Officials say they're excited for the community to experience the new Get experience.
I think it's exciting. A lot of our customers are excited to ride the bus. They can charge their smartphones. We're advancing ourselves in technology and hygiene, and we're just making a better experience for our customers.
Officials say the $12.7 million used to replace part of their fleet was from grant money. The old buses will be sold at auction. Officers and firefighters met on the ice at Rabobank Arena this morning, facing off in a friendly scrimmage before their Guns N' Hoses charity match this weekend. It's a battle that's been brewing between first responders for more than 20 years. Guns N' Hoses is a matchup of local officers and firefighters duking it out on the ice in the name of charity. Organizers say last year Guns N' Hoses generated more than $20,000 for local organizations and brought in a similar amount the year before that. Coaches from the Bakersfield Condors were on hand to give players some tips ahead of Saturday's game. Officers and firefighters say it's all fun and games now, but come this weekend, the gloves are off.
One, the support and the partnership of the Condors has made it what it is, and we're able to raise money, have a good time playing hockey, beat up the cops a little, and win a game or two, and raise money for charities, which is ultimately the end goal. So.
Organizers say they've raised money for the local burn center, homeless center, children's charities, and more. If you'd like to see the showdown, tickets are still available for the Guns N' Hoses game. The game starts at 2 o'clock at Rabobank Arena, and tickets are just $20. Well, who doesn't love scooping a chip into a heaping bowl of salsa? If you're a fan of the spicy, garlicky, tomatoey stuff, we have a festival that you should know about. The Kiwanis Club of Kern will be hosting a salsa festival on Saturday, May 18th. It'll be packed with every salsa you can think of: red, green, mole, extra hot, mild, and much more. The festival is free to attend. It will be held at Mill Creek Park from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. The club says the festival is a great way to bring families together and highlight the delicious produce grown right here in the valley. Well, how much money do you plan on spending on your sweetheart this Valentine's Day? A new study has found that men and women have very different ideas. The new study says the average man will spend more than $300 on their partner. That's including dinner, flowers, chocolates, and other things to pamper them. Women, on the other hand, spend an average of just $60. But the study says there's quite a disconnect about expectations. Women appear to want their partners to spend less, and men want women to step up and spend a little more. Chris?
Let's start the Now News feed. A Massachusetts woman will continue to serve time in connection to the suicide of a man in 2014. The state's high court upholding Michelle Carter's conviction today. She sent text messages urging her suicidal boyfriend to take his life. Pope Francis is admitting that priests sexually abused nuns. He called the abuse of nuns by priests in France as sexual slavery. Now, he was referring, the Vatican says, to an abuse of power. It was the first public acknowledgement of this kind of sexual abuse in the church. Well, you may have recognized and seen Alice Johnson during the State of the Union last night. The president, you remember, ending her life sentence as a nonviolent drug offender, but she now has a book that'll be on shelves in May. She also has deals in line for movies and television. Well, Instagram is now taking steps to control suicide-related content on the app. All of this coming after the death of a teen girl. And the Now's Kamasi Aaron shows us what Instagram and other social media sites are now doing.
Chris, Instagram users will now see sensitivity screens that blur out images showing self-harm. Those type of images will also no longer appear in searches. If people search certain hashtags like the word suicide, Instagram will encourage users to seek help. The changes are happening just 2 years after a 14-year-old girl in the UK committed suicide. It was later discovered she was following self-harm and suicide accounts on Instagram. Facebook, which owns Instagram, is also taking steps to avoid this type of content. The site has built a system to detect content that expresses thoughts of suicide. This involves anything from a text post to live video. Whenever Facebook systems detect this, it warns a team of employees who look further into it. If they do believe the content is related to self-harm or suicide, they'll contact emergency responders. Now, not everyone is on board with these protections. At least one legal scholar who has researched Facebook's Facebook suicide prevention efforts worries that if this type of content is censored, it'll create a stigma about talking about suicide. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is on your screen. The number is 1-800-273-TALK.
All right, Kamasi, thank you. We have another check of our lineup, and we're looking at a breakthrough cancer treatment. How this treatment is erasing signs of the disease in just days. A Texas family says their dog was killed by a car while in the care of an online dog walker. And look, this isn't the first time a pet's died or an owner's been upset after using one of those popular dog walking apps. The Now's investigator Jace Larson shows us what you can do to keep your pet and your home safe.
Weg and Rover are popular, and to be sure, a lot of people love them. Here's how they work. You download an app on your phone, and then you can hire a walker or an overnight dog sitter. It's convenient and easy for a lot of people. But now a small number of owners have come home to dead pets and some really messed up houses. It happened last summer in Colorado to Wally, a dachshund. He was mauled to death by another dog while someone from Rover was supposed to be watching him. The owner got the message on the app.
A mastiff completely mauled your dog and killed him instantly.
Then watch this. In New York, this dog walker wasn't supposed to bring ladies to his customer's home, and for sure not take them to the back room.
Get out just the way you are. Now!
The homeowner caught it on camera and then called a friend to interrupt them. Then there's this overnight dog sitter who, according to homeowner Colleen Covell in Denver, trashed her house.
I went up to my bed and I found women's clothing in it.
And he left her house smelling like weed, says Covell, a federal prosecutor. And then the house sitter Instagrammed his bubble bath in her master tub, a room where he wasn't supposed to go.
He took a picture of himself in my tub in a bubble bath where he had my bottle of expensive red wine.
Rover and Weg didn't want to talk about her case, and while such cases aren't the norm, they are reminders of what can happen. Weg has an F rating with the Better Business Bureau. Rover has an A+. The BBB says don't rely on a dog walker's online rating. Meet them in person first, and call their references on the phone. It might sound simple, but you're going to have to break the temptation to substitute an email or a text. you're more likely to learn the real story on the telephone. In Covelle's case, she later learned that her dog walker was a felon on probation for threatening someone. Rover never could tell me how he slipped through the background check process. Both Rover and WAG claim they do background checks. I'm Jace Larson, The Now.
Well, if last year felt like it was warmer than other years, you are not wrong. 2018 was the 4th hottest year on record in the world. Scientists tweeting today with their findings saying the Earth's global temperature last year was the 4th warmest since 1880. Experts also say 18 of the last 19 hottest years on record have happened since 2001. While last year was hot, it was also wet with an average rainfall of 34 inches. That makes 2018 the 3rd wettest year on record since 1895. Well, if these last storms are any indication of what this year is going to be like, we are going to have some pretty decent rainfall for our area, Allison.
Yeah, we really are. We tracked a series of storms that brought rain here in the valley and lots of snow into the mountains across Central California. We're actually tracking a new series of storms that's making its way into the county this weekend. But before that, much cooler temperatures. 51 degrees was our high today. That's actually 10 degrees below normal, which is at 61 for this time of year. But we are tracking freezing temperatures across the county overnight. So 43 degrees right now here in Bakersfield, down to 28 in Fraser Park and 13 in Pine Mountain Club. Definitely chilly there already. But here in the San Joaquin Valley, we are tracking a freeze warning that begins at midnight tonight, continuing until 9 a.m. on Thursday. Temperatures here in the valley could be anywhere from 27 up to 32 degrees, and actually some areas could get down as low as 24. So make sure that you are checking on your pets, your plants, as well as your pipes and the elderly in your area, just to make sure that they are staying warm through the evening hours. But thankfully, due to the strong winds that we felt earlier today, another day of good air quality with an AQI of 42, and there are no restrictions, but birding is discouraged. So we are tracking our next storm system making its way into the county in the very late hours on Friday through the early morning hours on Saturday. This is going to be a cold system, so that snow level down to 3,000 feet. So that means good news for Alta Sierra. They will be open Saturday, Sunday, as well as on Monday. We are tracking those morning snow shower chances Saturday morning, and then we are tracking yet another system making its way into the county Sunday evening, continuing into Monday. That is going to be a cold system as well. So temperatures here in the valley are going to be below seasonal for at least the next 7 days. We're tracking that freeze warning with a high of 57 degrees for us here in Bakersfield tomorrow, then dropping down to 53 as that series of storms makes its way through the county, and then yet another system on the way later next week. The Now Bakersfield will be right back.
All right, let's start the Now news feed. A Walmart on Long Island accused of discrimination. The store kept African-American beauty products locked in a glass case, and the store removed them after complaints, but Walmart's faced criticism like this in other states as well. A soap opera tribute for a fallen star. Today, the last Young and the Restless episode with Christophe St. John aired. Actor was found dead in his LA home on Sunday. The show will pay tribute to him on Friday. Well, sledding, of course, one of the best ways to celebrate a snow day. Take a look at this video. Even if you're a police officer, a department in Washington State posted this video of some officers taking a break during their shift to get a ride in with some neighborhood kids after they got some snow. Let's get to this story. A breakthrough in treating suicidal patients could be on its way, and the drug itself isn't new. Ketamine, it's an anesthetic. Johnson & Johnson's coming out with a ketamine-based antidepressant. Now, as soon as next month, it could be approved for treating depression that's been resistant to other drugs. They're expecting approval to treat suicidal thinking within 2 years. Well, a cancer breakthrough is offering new hope. The Now's Kamasi Aaron showing us how attacking stem cells is putting once lethal cancer in remission.
And this summer, I'm even thinking about doing some landscaping.
Just a few months ago, a walk like this would have been nearly impossible for David Cade.
I told my wife I'll never ever sit in a wheelchair where you have to push me. And it was kind of embarrassing when I finally had to say, I cannot walk. I need you to push me in.
July of last year, he told his wife Dawn he felt a little strange.
I said, it's like life is leaving me. I don't know what's going on.
After hours of tests, his doctor told him he had acute myeloid leukemia.
And he said, Dave, it's not good. And I said, well, how bad is it? And he said, 2 weeks to 2 months.
Acute myeloid leukemia, or AML, is a cancer of the blood and bone marrow. It usually affects older people who often can't tolerate intense chemotherapy. And because it's so aggressive, it's often lethal.
It was pretty devastating.
David didn't qualify for standard treatments, so his doctor suggested he participate in a clinical trial.
And we were seeing responses and outcomes unlike anything we had ever seen.
Dr. Daniel Paulier led the trial at the University of Colorado. With a combination of low-grade chemotherapy and a medication called venetoclax, patients in the trial were seeing their cancer go into remission.
What this therapy does is it exploits a weakness in the leukemia stem cell population that is present really only in that population.
Healthy cells are unaffected, and the cancerous stem cells fall apart.
And if you kill the root cause of the disease, the whole building crumbles. And that is why we're seeing deep and durable remissions, and in some cases we can now prove cures.
The medication is now approved by the FDA, and Dr. Paulier is optimistic the same approach can be used to fight other cancers.
When I got out of the hospital, I thought, I'm going to make it.
After just 8 days of treatment, David had no sign of his disease.
It just amazed us. We couldn't even imagine it.
Now these two are ready to keep walking with a new appreciation for every step. For the Now, I'm Kamasi Aaron.
All right, Kamasi, thank you. And finally in our lineup, one teacher has been wearing the same outfit for nearly 100 days. It's all to highlight the issue of sustainable clothes, and we're finding out if making this switch could be realistic on a budget. You're watching The Now. Now, shopping smart doesn't always mean shopping cheap. For one school teacher, it means shopping sustainable. For the past 3 months, she's been making headlines for her eco-friendly fashion. Then now Zany Taylor showing us how you could do this too on a budget.
I am no different than anyone else. I am not some kind of fringe sort of person. I'm very mainstream.
But for the past 95 days, Julia Mooney stepped away from the norm to wear this sustainable dress for 100 days straight in hopes to enlighten those around her to shop sustainably.
In the fashion industry, there aren't a ton of companies doing it, but the more we buy from them, the more the industry will respond to that.
Shoppers want affordability. That's why companies like H&M, Zara, and Forever 21 dominate. But Deb Hendrickson, owner of Equilibrium, a sustainable clothing line, says affordability doesn't always mean quality.
It's staple garments that you wouldn't rotate out of your wardrobe. You kind of keep in, and by more number of wears, it's more cost effective in the long run and doesn't have a carbon footprint of ending up in a landfill.
Sustainable clothing is made in an ethical way and uses eco-friendly material like hemp, which Deb says is more expensive than cotton.
The trend's growing, I think, because the consumers are getting educated.
The industry is slowly changing. Take a look at the sustainable clothing brand Cotton. This cute dress is $55, just $5 more than a similar one we found on H&M's website for $49.99. Other sustainable sites with great prices include 4 Days, Threads for Thought, and People Tree. Although majority of H&M clothing is not sustainable, they have created a small line of conscious clothing with comparable prices, but uses higher quality material.
I think it's more cost effective to spend a little more up front for something that you will keep.
Julie agrees. She says she got her money's worth from her hemp dress.
In reality, this is actually pretty cheap. I spent $50 on this dress and it comes out to 50 cents a day when you wear it for 100 days.
For the Now, I'm Annie Taylor.
Annie, thank you. And beer is a business worth billions. It's an industry dominated by men as well. And tomorrow in the Now, the women working to break through a glass ceiling by keeping glasses full.
Coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11, 9 people have been selected to sit on the Measure In committee, helping the city decide what to do with millions of local tax dollars. We're going to have that and more tonight at 11. In the meantime, though, one quick final check of our forecast.
Well, it's going to be cold this evening. A freeze warning here in the valley. That's going to keep temperatures overnight below freezing as well as in the desert. So make sure you are bundling up.
All right, we'll see you at 11.